Today's tech tip highlights Newsela, an informational text resource that teachers of all subject areas can use to appeal to all reading levels in their classes. To use Newsela, you go to newsela.com and then click Sign In. For 6th grade and up, the district has purchased the Pro version. So we'll go to our Google sign in to log in. You choose your correct account. If you log in with your camus.wednet.edu, the Google password, up here in the right-hand corner, it should show up with your name and Pro subscriber right away. Even without a Pro subscription, students can still read and access Newsela with their Google login. Now, to really make Newsela work for us, it is an adaptive reading program that has library articles, news articles, text sets. These are all nonfiction, and they are leveled. So in order to benefit from our students reading these, we need to create a class and access that class in order to see the data. So what we'll do first is we'll go down to classes under our Pro subscriber account. Now, if you use Google Classroom, you can import a class from Google Classroom. If you don't use Google Classroom, you can just have students join a class by using a class code. So you can see here I have 2 classes that were synced from Classroom. So all you would do is click either Add Class or Import Google Classroom. So to do that, I would sign in with Google and then select my class to import, and then it would automatically bring those students in. And anytime I get new students, then all I have to do is revise that class. I can also add a class, and that will give students a code that they can then enter. Students can be in more than one Newsela class at a time. They still have the same profile. And that's how you create a class for them. Now, looking at Newsela. So to use Newsela, you can have students simply choose an article they're interested and read it. And a lot of teachers use it this way for student choice. But as a teacher, I could go to Search Newsela, and a lot of us like to use the advanced search down here on the right. And we can search Newsela for articles that go along with the Common Core reading standards. We can find articles that are written at grade level. Now, every Newsela article is written at 5 different levels. But this will let us pick, if we want to pick grade level, we can pick the reading skill. We do have some Newsela texts in Spanish. We have some special features now. They've added many more elementary articles. Power words is new this year. They have 5 embedded vocabulary words in these articles, and when the students scroll over them, it'll give them the definition. Ones that have ProTeacher Resources, which would be lesson plans that go along with it and suggestions of the ways to use that article in the classroom. And then recommended annotations. Those would be comments along the side of the article that students could respond to. And then which ones have social studies writing prompts. So this would be the format of the articles. We have this many essays. We have primary sources, we have profiles, and we do have some reference articles. So you can search anyway. There's another tab in the advanced search that goes to content provider. Now, Newsela will pull content from different sources online, newspapers, the Smithsonian. They'll pull these information, and then they write their articles based on those articles. So if we look at an article, here's one about the fires in Northern California. Keep in mind that once students have read 6 to 8 articles and taken a 4-question quiz on those articles, Newsela will push out to them the level that best fits their current reading. So this one comes in at a level 8 because I am registered as an 8th grade teacher, so it's going to push to me the level that I put in as my teaching level. It can go up to, the highest level is grade 12, and the lowest level will go down to a grade level 3. Students do not see what grade level it is. They only see the Lexile level when they read the article. We can see that this 8th grade level article is pulled from the Associated Press, adapted by Newsela staff. It gives us our date. And then if we look down below, we have the text of the article. Over here on the right, we do have recommended annotations that they put for teachers. So they might ask questions about items in the article. And if you choose to use those when you assign this article, you can click Share. If you don't care for the annotations that are given, you can select some of the text yourself. And then over on the right, you have a chance to add an annotation. There it is. And then you can write an annotation. You can highlight it. Students would all see that that's highlighted in this level only. So these annotations would apply to the 1140 level. Which brings us to this idea here. If I want to assign it, I choose my 3 little dots. I can save it for later. I can share it. I can print it. I could add it to a text set. I could come over here and click Assign To, and I could assign it to one of my classes. And one of the things I like to do is highlight any words you don't understand in red or something there, and then I can click Assign That Article, and I'll assign it to that class. If I choose to use the annotations over here, I do have to go through each level and apply annotations to each level and click Share. So I find that it's better to put my directions in the Assign To. Then the activities that go with the article. As a teacher, we can see that there's a quiz that goes with it. And we can see the correct choice as a teacher. There's a 4-question quiz. Grade 6, Anchor 1, what does the text say? Now, each level of the article will have questions based on what the text says. They will be a little bit different based on the articles that are read. And we can flip through those. The other part that we have here in activities is the writing prompt. Now, you can use the prompt that they have, and students can write an answer, or you can edit it to be whatever prompt you would like it to be. So now I'm opening a new article so that I can show you one other feature of Newsela. With the Pro subscription, we do have ProTeacher Resources. So this one has a reading strategy, and if you click on it, it'll show you the details about how to use it. Down here, we've got show details of a group project that they suggest that we do. There's also a text set about obesity with your class, if we're going to do healthy habits and obesity, and they have a text set so students can read and get more background information. Ideally, students at different reading levels could read similar information and still have a class discussion, produce a class project on that topic. So now for the data. To see the data on our students, we go to our binder, and I can look at all my classes or my other 2 classes. I have a class left from last year since I don't have one this year. I can go into this class, and I can look at the results for my students and mine this data. So for now, I'm going to go to Reading Progress. I have no current assignments, but I could look at my students. I could see where they're at in data. This is progress in my class. Overall progress actually gives you the data between their choice articles and the ones that you've assigned. So I have a list of students here that are on track. It gives me a list of students that might be nearly on track, and then students that need improvement. If I want to look to filter it, I can filter by this school year, Or I can even put in a date range. So last 7 days, last 30 days, some teachers will say, I want you to read 4 articles, and then they look in the last 7 days at the results for students and see how many articles they viewed and how they've done on those articles. So you can break down the data that way. If I want to look at the skills, these would be all the skills, or maybe I just want to see how they're doing at point of view and purpose type questions. Okay, those would be for my assignments, and now I'm in my reading progress. So if I were to choose a student now, I can look at this student, of course. Now I have a student that actually has data. So if I look at this student's data, they've read 24 articles. They've done it at the 9th grade reading level. They've spent 5 minutes and 25 seconds in each article average, and their quiz average is an 81%. Their writing average is a 2. I've only graded one of those. So if I look down here, I can see the ones that I've assigned and the independent reading ones that this student has chosen and how they're doing on it. If I go to the class that I've assigned, I wanted to show you the writing article. And what that looks like as a teacher to go in there and score for students. There is a teacher view. So I have this student. These are all the students that have read this article. And it's talking about fake news. And there was a question about what is one way to solve this problem with fake news? Why is it a problem? The student received a 2 on it. So if I were to click on another student over here, you can see that I've clicked a 3. And if you scroll over it, it tells you the little rubric for that. I can also see that the student did the writing, that they added the annotations that I asked that they add. So if I look down here, I asked them to highlight in red some things in the article, so I can look down and see that they did that. And then I can even look and see how this student did on the quiz itself and see what the student picked. And that's in review mode for a certain article. Now I've scrolled down below the student's binder, and there's a student that has said, you know, I really messed up. I clicked the wrong answer. Whatever happened, they need to retake the quiz. You can choose the 3 dots and simply click Reset Quiz. And then that resets the quiz so the student can go in and retake the quiz. You can also do that if you look at the class summary of your assignments that are given. So here's some assignments that were given. I'm in fidget toys. I come down here. I can see how all of my students did. And again, I can click the 3 dots and I can reset the quiz for that student if I need to. That student didn't take the quiz, so we can reset the quiz for this student. The final feature to share about Newsela this year would be this idea of back-to-school benchmarks. So if you search benchmarks or back-to-school benchmarks, you will find it by searching the search tab. Now the back-to-school benchmarks, the quizzes actually have 8 questions each. So if you were to assign these 3 articles at the beginning of the year, they would quickly level your students. They read the article at their assigned grade level, and based on the results on the quizzes, then Newsela can place them quickly into a reading level that works for them. And there are ProTeacher Resources sources to go with each benchmark. So that's new this year. Finally, if you find an article that you would like, or like these back-to-school benchmarks, you can click the Save tab and it will go up into your saved by you resources anytime you find something like that. So my question for you is, how could you use Newsela? There are articles in Newsela that go with just about every subject taught in our classes at Camas School District. So how could we as science teachers or math teachers or history teachers, English teachers, health teachers, use this resource to help us reach all levels of students in our classes?